Good afternoon and welcome, everybody. This would be the Jeff Cameron Show right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. It is great to be with you. Thanks for tuning in to us. Hope you're having a good day. I'm Jeff. That's Tom. We're online. ESPNTallahassee.com if you want to listen via the streaming. I appreciate you old school radio listeners. Cozy on up. Come on, let's sit down and have ourselves a chat. Email the show if you like, jcs at 979espnradio.com. On Twitter, it's at jcameron.show. Hello, YouTubers. Good to be with you. So we're good to go. Big-time college football returns. Florida State's all set when it comes to capacity or full capacity, the stadium, the state gives FSU and all the other universities for that matter, the green light, the go-ahead, full fan attendance for 2021. Another day, another step towards normalcy, so all right.
I'm glad that's confirmed because apparently the governor had quietly said that outdoor events could go to 100% even before Texas said they could, but it's just that most of the sporting leagues, and obviously we have a lot of arena sports here, they weren't willing to do that. The NHL is not ready to do that as a policy. The NBA is not ready to do that. But if you saw the event, the UFC event recently, wasn't that in Jacksonville?
I don't know.
15,000 people piled in for the fight a week or two ago. So good. Roll it forward. Let's go. Let's make some money. That's what this is about. The university needs it, and they're going to make it for Notre Dame weekend.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. We'll need to kind of delve into that, just how much we think this impacts Florida State's attendance, obviously significantly, because you can actually, if people so desire, fill the stadium. Of course, the product on the field has led to that desire to wane, and they have not been able to get people to fill the stadium. And they won't. They won't get people to fill the stadium this year, even though they can now as those restrictions are lifted. But you might be right about Notre Dame. Certainly, people are ready to embrace the normal, embrace what was lost for a year. They're yearning to do so. You see it all around us right now. And it's weird because you can really gauge the psychological impact that these restrictions and also I'm not going to get into the politics of all this, but, certainly as we began to figure out what the novel coronavirus could or could not do and how it was spread, you had to obviously be very careful. And as you learned more and more, and obviously eventually that led to a vaccine, luckily these restrictions were beginning to be loosened, and now that anybody can get the vaccine who wants it, you figured these kinds of announcements were coming. But in the interim, a lot of time has passed. A whole year has passed, and it was a reminder of just how social we are, even if you are less affable than, say, you and I are, Tom. We're people, some people are far more reserved and are loners. My wife is kind of that way.
Yeah. Introverted, yeah.
Introverted is the right word, yeah. And yet, she misses being at events and going to games and doing things like that. I think a lot of us do, and I'm just happy to hear that. I will be curious to see what kind of attendance we get for some of the lesser games. The Notre Dame game, you're right. Some of the lesser games,
yeah.
It will be the Jacksonville State game. That's a toughie.
That's 6 days later, man. That's the thing, because we're playing on Sunday. You can ask, people from Orlando, Atlanta, and Miami are going to roll back into town. 6 days later, I don't think so. That's going to be Tallahassee-only attendance. But you might have some people who are so desperate to be around that type of setting and that type of feeling that maybe you do get a small bump over the expected 35 to 40,000 in the stands for J-State.
Let's hope. Something I read yesterday, and I talked about this on the air because this is my guy. I decided to venture down the road, and outside of my comfort level, I went ahead because I've been prolific in my ability to lure and to woo defensive linemen to Florida State University. And I was reluctant to kind of go outside the comforts of that recruiting prowess and go to the other side of the ball and really put it out into the ether, create the energy necessary, conjure up an image for a young man on the offensive line that he buys into and then comes to Florida State because of me yet again. But I did it this time around. I told the listening audience that Aliou Bah is my guy. That this is I put the mojo into the air.
Oh, you went to the Wayback Machine. I forgot about that. You could have let that be. So you're on the honor system. I love it.
I did. Liu Ba, who has got the coolest name for an offensive lineman ever, maybe not ever, but certainly it's up there, is on the cusp of making his decision. 6'3", 316 pounds. He is now focused on his finalists: Penn State, Florida, Florida State, Texas, Texas A&M, and Oklahoma. Ooh. Now, to me, and I am quite worried.
Yeah, it doesn't sound good for us.
It doesn't bode well that Texas A&M and Oklahoma are in the mix. I don't worry about Florida or Penn State. They could win. I'm not saying he won't go there. I don't know. I have not talked to Liu Ba. I've just put out the good mojo out there into the ether. But, so first of all, if you're a Liu Ba, young man, you're not going to Texas. They don't win anything ever. Just stop. Texas shouldn't even be on the list. Get the hell out of here with that. Now, if you're going to consider real teams.
They will expand a stadium, though. They'll have 250,000 in that place in the next 10 years. Yeah, that's right.
There they go. And not beat Oklahoma and not win the Big 12. So that's what they'll do. And then they'll bitch about it. And they'd be right to, since they have more resources than almost all schools involved in playing the sport. And yet they can't get it right.
I know, right, partner?
So remove them from the list. You don't want to go up to the sticks at Penn State, young man. There's nothing for you up there. Nothing.
Yeah, James Franklin's trying to power play his way out of there anyway.
He does it every year. He's trying to ride. Forget about it. It's not really a deal. You're already at IMG Academy, dominating, turning heads. You punched your ticket to the Rivals 5-Star Challenge this summer in Atlanta, writes Sam Spiegelman. So, come on, man. Stay in the state. And for that matter, you want to come with the up-and-comer. You want to get on board the rising tide that is this boat here at Florida State, baby.
I feel like Mr. VIP Pass has to be the big voice for the 5-Star Challenge. Get the 5-Star Challenge. Welcome to the Rivals 5-Star Challenge.
Here in Atlanta,
we have VIP packages available.
Let me see your VIP pass.
VIP pass.
Let me see that pass.
Excuse me, sir. This is the 5-Star Challenge.
Oh, my God. Boss says this. Being able to get a feel for each school. I can't get a good feel online, so I want to feel the atmosphere and the campus and the culture. I need to see people around me, and I'm looking forward to that, to seeing the coaches in person and shaking all of their hands. So summer official visits loom for him. He has an official visit set for Penn State in June. That's a mistake. You're wasting your time. Don't look at that place. No chance. Florida offensive line John Havsey has been in regular contact with Liu Ba. No doubt cheating. You don't want to sign with cheaters. I don't know that to be true. That is a baseless allegation on my part, but it's a safe assumption given where he works. Ba says they have a great relationship. That's code for him trying to be paid. Probably. Allegedly. The same goes for Florida State's Alex Adkins, who has Ba anxious to make a visit to Tallahassee this summer. Ba's relationship with Seminole head coach Mike Norvell goes back to Coach's time at Memphis. Quote, Coach Atkins is my dog. I have a great relationship with him. He's one of the coolest coaches I've had a chance to talk to. I knew Coach Norvell from when he was at Memphis. I've met him in person. I believe in what they're building at Florida State. I think I could make an impact there.
Whoa.
Buddy, those are strong quotes.
Strong words.
Strong quotes.
Looks like we have the VIP pass.
Maybe my positive mojo, putting it out there, my tireless efforts to lure Liu Ba and celebrate his dominance.
Yeah, fluffy Bisquick pancakes.
Are coming to bear fruit, sir. It could happen. You guys will remember this one forever, if it does. I'll put it on my Twitter handle.
You should.
I'm the reason Liu Ba chose Florida State. That's just all it's going to say. It won't even say what I do for a living. Kyle Flood was a big reason why Baugh was interested in Alabama for a good chunk of his recruitment. That interest has expanded onto Texas, where Flood is the offensive line coach. When Coach Flood got to Texas, he offered me right away, and I've been talking to him ever since. We've built a great relationship. I believe in what he did at Alabama, and I think he can do it at Texas. That sounded lukewarm. That's him letting him down easy. Like, hey, man, I loved you when you were at Bama, but you're not at Bama anymore. Good luck at Texas. I believe in you. You teach those kids well while I'm at Florida State.
They do not have the VIP pass.
No. And then I do like this quote, by the way, from our friend Iliu Baugh, the next great Seminole offensive lineman. He says about Josh Henson, Texas A&M's offensive line coach, that he's one of the best recruiters at his position. He's got, he's developed a rapport.
He's got money.
Texas A&M is big time as well. I've been talking to him over the last year. I like talking to him. Texas A&M is a nice school in the SEC, and Henson produces great offensive linemen. Okay. That sounds lukewarm to me.
Yeah. But they should sell their reputation. That's the number one thing. Go figure. A Jimbo Fisher team could say, hey, we put offensive linemen in the league. This is what we do.
Yeah, ridiculous. The problem here is Oklahoma, as I see it. And this is a big-time problem, especially when you read the quote. It's OLU, Baugh said. Coach B produces great offensive linemen for them and puts them in the league. I believe he can take me and get me to the next level. I believe in his ability to coach me up. It's a great school. They've been controlling the Big 12 and winning forever. The culture there, it's a winning culture. It's a college town, and their culture is big time.
So
that sounded strong, man.
It's the cool up-and-comers against the established brand that puts people to the league, gets them paid, and having fun while doing it. That's toughy.
And it's hard for me because, if he doesn't come here, I want him to go to Oklahoma. I'd rather you come here, Leo. But, I understand your interest in Oklahoma.
So there are two schools that have the VIP pass.
Perhaps. It appears that way.
Us in Oklahoma.
Yeah. 6'6", 316 pounds.
Yeah, fluffy Bisquick pancakes.
Is that right? I'm looking at that. We have got a discrepancy here. The story initially reads, as written by Sam Spiegelman, 6'3". If you scroll down and you look at his little profile here, his position rank and where he is at in the state, they list him at 6'6".
Well, that's a big difference.
Yes, he's been slided 3 inches in this story.
Hit the keypad. That's why you got to use the number line when you put your heights and weights together. Don't use the keypad. Big difference.
No keypad. Get rid of that keypad.
No keypad.
No. It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. earlier, but I cracked up today when I saw it. I guess it's exciting, but because it means we're not. I mean, we are, but not that far away. Phil Steele tweeted out earlier today, and it just cracked me up. A big thanks to Illinois head coach Brett Bielema for taking an hour to go over his Illini football team with me today. I noted and quote tweeted to Phil that if his love of football were ever questioned prior, it would forevermore no longer be. But
I saw that this morning. I didn't tell you, but I cracked the hell up.
Well, it's ridiculous. I mean,
you're going to spend an hour with Fat Bielema.
Dude.
On Illinois football.
On Illinois football. Holy Jesus. What are we doing here? I mean, I know Phil is thorough. He's nothing if not thorough. But damn it, man. Illinois football and that a-hole? I mean, Brett Bielema is the worst. That has to be so damn difficult.
Do you think that was sarcastic? Like Brett had, no time for him.
No, he added him.
No, but maybe he was like, thanks.
No,
thanks, Brett.
You've heard Phil. Phil's been on this show. He's been on Front Row Knowles. He's on everywhere as we build up towards college football. But he is the most earnest dude. It actually makes me laugh. It's just it's his brand, and he doesn't even know it. He's just this earnest guy. He can't wait to talk about things that nobody cares about. What your record is on a full moon on a Thursday in odd number of years. He's going to put it in his publication, Tom, and he'll let you know why. He's got a very specific reason.
Hey, it's a system, man.
It is a system. But you see how early this system starts? He's been writing for months, and he just got around to Illinois. Oh, today I get to talk to Brett Bielema for an hour. He says with a smile on his face, I would say while punching my testicles. So that's got to be the worst.
Man, all this talk about Phil Steele and his system coming out of spring ball makes me want to see if we can get Lee Sterling on to talk about his top observations coming out of spring camp. Because he's got to be over 30 spring games by now.
He can't. Well, I don't know how many of them would have him. I mean.
But he'd watch them.
Yeah. We pull him up.
SEC Network Plus, ACC Network Plus, if he's got it down there.
I mean, damn, that's a toughie. So, Brett, talk to me about Illinois football. Talk to me about the Fighting Illini. What do I, Phil Steele, need to know about the Fighting Illini, Brett? I'm here for you, Coach. We got an hour.
Obviously, Lovie Smith took a promotion to go to the NFL as a defensive coordinator. Left us in a great situation here.
Oh, my goodness gracious. But I did. I thought two things, what I just said, and then also I thought about Brett Bielema breaking down Illini football. Like, my man is thinking to himself as he's talking to Phil Steele, can you believe this? They allow me to steal more money? This is unreal. I get to continue to hit reset and steal over and over and over again.
That Big Ten contract is for real, baby. Look at this money.
What a joy. I can suck for years here at Illinois because they're used to it. And I just started the job, so I've got a minimum of 3 years worth of being paid. Expectations are nil. It's Illinois.
So which is the first Big Ten program to use all of this money to build a completely indoors practice facility that connects to the stadium, that connects to the dorms, like an indoor bubble community? 35,000 seats, like in Illinois. Imagine if they did that. You think about North Dakota State, and you see all the clips of the quarterbacks of late, Trey Lance and Wentz. But what if they use that money to create indoor settings for everything? You don't ever have to be outside. Don't worry about it. That'll come on the road games. But that's what's going to make Illinois more attractive, because it can't be anymore. It can't. You have to do something crazy with the money in order to make it attractive to recruits.
Have you seen Northwestern's indoor practice facility for their football and other sports?
It is unbelievable. That's why we have hope for Jim Phillips.
That's correct. That thing is elite. It is unreal. And it worked. I mean, they're good football players that are choosing to go to Northwestern, because that facility, which sits on the lake, is stunning.
That's a little bit closer to civilization, though, than, say, if you wanted to go to
Chicago,
Indiana or Illinois or, Champaign, really? I don't know.
Well, Yeah, I know. No chance.
But what if you built a mini indoor stadium like, it doesn't have to be as palatial as Jerry's World, but it had chair backs and it was 25,000, 30,000 seats, all inside, and the kids get to play in a first-class setting. Maybe that's how they're going to use all this excess money instead of paying coaches like Bielema way too much.
So that he can eat more sandwiches. Man, I don't know. Look, I just went to their website. They're slinging those season tickets. They're attempting to sling those season tickets. And, the weird thing is they have there's a tradition there. Now, it's shaky. It's not the best tradition, but there's some all-timers that came out of Illinois. We went through this before. For whatever reason, they aren't quite my Tennessee, my whipping post, but they are pretty close. I mean, I do, for whatever reason, bring up Illinois even more than I do Kansas. And when we did that, we looked up and I was like, oh, yeah, Simeon Rice. And we went through the litany of players. Like, man, they've had some ballers. It's been a minute. But they do.
They've had a receiver or two, right?
Oh, yeah. They've had good. Yeah, go ahead. Play the game. You're going to be surprised. Like, you'll look at that and you go, oh, okay. I don't know, man. I don't have anything against Illinois. I don't think about them, really.
Kevin Hardy played for them.
Mm-hmm.
He was a good linebacker.
He was a really good linebacker.
Mo Gardner, Ray Nitschke.
No.
Back in the day.
I'm saying you go back far enough, they had superstars everywhere. Back when people cared to play football at Illinois. A long time ago, pal. I mean, that.
Yeah, there's Simeon.
Do you think?
Wait, look at those shoulder pads. I just can't get over that.
Do you think the old timers sit in the stands and? Remember Ray Nitschke? He was something. We haven't had anybody around here like Ray Nitschke in a long time.
Wait a minute. Were they transplants from the South?
They're old and angry and
Dick Butkus, of course,
and cold. People talk about Butkus, but it was Nitschke. I always tell you, it was Nitschke. Butkus was good now, but it was Nitschke for me. And we ain't had nobody like Nitschke in a long time. Get out of here with all that Butkus. That's what I want the conversation to be. I'd be like, this is awesome. And then he takes a little nip. They're down 37-0 in the second quarter.
One of them's holding a pennant, certainly.
Yo, without question. Underneath a massive coat, hiding the tears in his eyes as he watches yet another ass beaten at the hands of, like, Northeastern. AAA Tree Experts in Landscaping remind you to prepare your property for hurricane season. If you have trees on your property, it is crucial to have them inspected before a major hurricane. Contact AAA Tree Experts in Landscaping today, 385-3319. That's 385-3319, or online at AAATreeExperts.net. AAATreeExperts.net.
We all know this feeling. Your phone or tablet fumbled out of your hands, hurling towards the ground faster than you can get to it. Helpless. That's where Phone Hero comes to your rescue. With full-service locations off of Cary Forest Parkway in West Gaines, Phone Hero specializes in iPhone and iPad repair. And when you use Phone Hero, you won't pay the big store, big-ticket prices. You'll be supporting local business, working with folks who make tech speak easy to understand, and you'll be saving your wallet. Phone Hero, your hero for all things iPad and iPhone. Online at PhoneHeroTLH.com.
Look at you, Bumpus Local 349. Fine as hell. your a dark chapter in your life. But I am going to give you the opportunity to talk about Bret Bielema in any fashion that you would like. Maybe it offsets your, embarrassment.
Professor, the floor is yours. Engage with the lecture.
Yeah, let us know about what it was on that fateful day that caused a breaking point to be reached. How it was that after countless pathetic performances from Arkansas that you kept it together through, presumably. But on this day, we had crossed the line. That is it. I am done with your sorry ass, Bret Bielema.
Look at him. Like it doesn't even matter.
He's just
Look at
sitting
him.
there sweating and thinking about eating. Always. He's sure not picturing up football plays, I'll tell you that.
We need the endowment.
There's a ham in the end zone, fat ass. Find a way to get there.
Professor Van Walton, you got to go.
Sir.
I mean,
sir.
You could come back next week, but you got to go today.
Yeah, he's highly respected. They like him, so they're trying to, tiptoe around it.
That's too much.
Sir. I can't. I mean, I can't let you sit here and continue.
Dr. Van Walton, please. You just said there's a ham in the end zone.
Yeah. And added fat ass on there for the world to hear because this place is half empty again. Yes, it is.
You're also saying and so forth a lot, which usually is a key for us to know that you've had a few brandies.
It's brandy, right? Yeah. He's taking in the
and
brandy.
He's saying and so forth.
Yeah.
When it doesn't even make sense.
Yeah.
It's third down and so forth.
Yeah. Guess what fat ass is going to do about it? Lose more yards and punt again. And then there's a sack. See?
3 and out and so forth.
Yeah. Oh. Dr. Van Walton, you're going to have to. Let's get you home. There are other games on. Competently coached teams throughout this conference. They're playing right now. You don't got to go home, but you got to get out of here. That's the way this is going to work today. Please work with me on this one. I was sent up here to talk to you. They can hear you down there.
I'm in hog hell.
Oh, my goodness. This is today's a day that we embrace again. And we're getting closer now, Tom, that as we go through here, I mean, I think you think by now we have a handle. We haven't given Red Russians out lately. We're going to start doing that again early next week. We know these teams. We're winding down the season. It's time to get it on.
It's been a very difficult season.
It's been a hard
wager.
year to do it.
I've stayed away from it because of the monotony of the schedule. It's a baseball-like schedule. You only play the same 5 or 6 teams all season long. There's boredom in certain teams' structure in the way they play. So it was not wise to wager.
Yeah, it's hard to do.
Now here we go, though.
Yeah, when there is boredom, it is tough. So, by the way, I mentioned this a second ago. I will only bring this up very, very briefly. I was talking to you off the air. But they're playing the Wells Fargo, and I love this tournament because this is the ratcheting up towards the next major. And I said to somebody yesterday that I may or may not have a few potato chips on a bunch of different rosters with my DraftKings.
Oh,
where you at, baby?
All right.
Where you at, DraftKings? Come on now.
This is always at Quail, right? This particular
Yeah, Quail Hall.
Yeah, the greens there are absolutely brutal.
Charlotte, North Carolina. I want you to know something, Tom. I'm pulling it up here. We're live right here as I pull this up. This has never happened before. But currently, I am in the money in every one of my selections.
Did you happen to play Phil Mickelson?
No, he's -5. Nobody played Phil Mickelson, so I don't have to worry about that.
Tied for first.
It doesn't make any sense. But I will tell you that I did play Brian Harmon out of nowhere.
Sungjae Im?
I did play Sungjae Im.
Oh, yeah.
I also played Justin Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
He's at -2.
Yep, tied 14.
I also played Cameron Davis and Pat Perez.
Yep, Pat Perez.
What?
There he is.
What?
Also tied 14.
Nicely done, Jeff. And then of the other odd picks that my cohorts don't have, I did take Stuart Sink, who's currently sitting at a cool 3 under through 10. There's money coming. Come on, boys. Come on.
It's an interesting field.
It's a gloated field, by the way. I mean, a lot of the guys are just now teeing off, but like Xander Schauffele is there. DeChambeau is there. Well, I would say Ricky Fowler's there. He is, but who knows? Maybe he comes out of his slumber. Rory McIlroy is back. Patrick Reed is back.
You got to remember that the PGA is right around the corner.
Yeah,
this
they're
is the
all
first
getting
year
geared
that
up. This is it.
The new schedule was played with 4 in a row.
I did see where Max Homa, who's the defending champion there and who I absolutely adore, got off to an extremely rocky start today. I don't know how he finished, but at one point I looked up and my man was like +6 through 10. Oh, he finished +6. What happened, champ? He's tired.
He played even in the final 7. There you go. This is a momentum.
That's a toughie.
A little bit of momentum.
Somebody told me, like, you should really look into JB Holmes, and I went, no, I'm not going to do it. Thank God. And that person can never give me golf advice again.
It wasn't me.
Dude shot a 78. No, not what we do. Not what we do. So anyhow, you guys have asked me out there to keep you abreast of the situation. So I'm letting you know. I have rostered a mighty team in several different leagues and competitions, and my guys are rolling right now. Now, I probably shouldn't say that.
Yep. It's a Thursday.
It's a curse, kiss of death. But and you know who I didn't take and who you hear me talk about all the time?
Zalatoris.
No, I didn't take him, and I love Will, but I didn't take him. Peter Malnati is my guy. That's the guy.
Malnati.
Yeah, there he sits at -4. He's not a good player, and he's not gonna. He won't make the cut.
So you play him on 1 days.
You got to play him on 1 days, and for whatever, my man will come out the gate swinging.
Mm-hmm.
But then it just gets to him. I don't know if he's tired. I don't know what happens. I don't know, as the thing goes on, he's like, "Ooh, I'm so tired. I can't keep this up."
The 63 took everything out of me.
Why do we have to keep playing? Tournament should be over. I'll take my top 5 and call it a day. I'm exhausted. You want me back here tomorrow?
1 day winner take all. That's the kind of tour I want to play on.
It is the kind of tour he wants to play on. I can't. Yeah, it's strange, but yeah, Harman, Kim, Stewart Sinks. Sink, your boy was on top. I was feeling it this week.
All right. Well, see, I've let that golf gambling thing fall off the wayside a little bit. I've been focusing on hockey, but
get locked back in. But.
Well, we could now. The trade of information begins next week. Is the Stanley Cup playoffs begin a week from today?
By the way, let's wrap up this part of Albert Pujols. What's his age?
41, I think.
Golly,
I think I just closed the.
That is window. Difficult, man. I mean, bat speed.
He's got 5 dongs this year.
Yeah, remember the first week of the season, he had a few dongs.
Yep.
He was donging it up out there.
41 is right, yeah.
Jeff Cameron Show.
I feel nothing.
In the past few years, our region has been hit by several major hurricanes. Even storms that make landfall miles away can disrupt our
probably noticed this real quick, short segment here, but just if you go over to the NFL Network, right, every morning, let's say, I do this surf around every morning. I get up early. Everybody knows that. I'm not prattling on about that again. But once I get the kids' lunches done and I get the coffee brewing and I'm kind of spaced out and ready to go, get my day going, I'll do a little cursory run around here. I'll be like, okay, NFL Network, what do we got? All right, MLB Network, what do we got? And then I'll just go through, catch the national news, boom, 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 boom. Got it. All right, time to hop in the shower, get these kids moving. We've marveled for a very long time, and we've watched the process play out, and it is ingenious. It is a lesson in how to take over the world. The NFL has found a way to be omnipresent in our lives 365 days a year. And I remember where that simply wasn't the case, and the more they branched out, the more we'd be like, what a reach. This isn't going to work. And it's worked to perfection. Their little game plan to ensure that they're always top of mind and that any bit of news can be broken into 16 pieces and analyzed every which way to Sunday. The NFL draft has gone from being interminable over the course of 3 days to the point where my wife goes, does this draft end? Does it ever end? Are we ever going to not have the draft on the TV? To where now the draft ends and it's just the beginning, Tom. Every article on NFL.com, or if you go to the actual NFL Network, is some sort of examination of every freaking pick by every team. I mean, at length. It is, give me those writers. Give me the guy that has a way to break down AFC West draft grades, best pick, biggest surprise, and more. Because I always click it.
Right.
I always click it. I'm a buffoon. You got me. I know this is ridiculous. Roundup. Dolphins picks one by one. Okay, click. What am I doing? Lions adjusting to compensatory picks. Click. What do I got? Why? Why do I do that?
It's our 20th anniversary at Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram, and we're celebrating with our Dare to Compare sales event going on right now. At Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram, you can save up to $11,000 on remaining 2020 Rams in stock, or 0% APR for 72 months. Save up to $11,000 or 0% for 6 years. Wow! On the only truck to three-peat as Motor Trend's Truck of the Year. Going on today during our Jeep Freedom Days, Jeep continues to bring you huge savings like the 2020 Jeep Renegade, Compass, and Cherokee with up to 7,000.
Hour number 2, Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Thanks for tuning to it. All right. I am, I've got a hankering. I got a hankering for some Florida State baseball. Are you nervous about the Notre Dame series? The answer should be a resounding yes.
Yeah, when you told me the rankings on Monday, when I was worried about, the bids and all that stuff, how the hell did we move up into the upper teens with a 2 out of 3 from Troy?
Won the series, baby.
Oh, what?
Took that series to the bank.
What? Is everybody else losing? Did everybody else get swept? What is going on here?
Another series victory, my man. Let me do this for you.
That I don't think we're tough, but I don't know how in a world of meritocracy, that climbs you up the rankings substantially.
Elevates your status with the big win over
2 out of 3 over Troy.
Troy, yeah.
126 in the RPI.
Get some, Troy. By the way, Notre Dame, out of the mighty ACC, of which they are a member in baseball, sits at number 2 in the RPI with a 124.9 rating. Boyd's World's all that matters, baby. Screw all that Warren Nolan nonsense. You got to step to the plate with Boyd's World. They're old school. They're the OGs of RPI for college baseball. That's true.
Speaking of Notre Dame being a member in the ACC in baseball, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you see that the ACC is putting together a documentary, an ACC original documentary
on Notre Dame?
On Notre Dame and the one football season.
Get out of here with that nonsense. Get it together, ACC.
Get off your knees.
Get it together, ACC Network. Get it together. Okay, now, Notre Dame sits just behind Arkansas. TCU is just behind that. And then you have Arizona, Vanderbilt rounding out your top 5 of the RPI. Now, again, this doesn't mean these are the 5 best teams, although I think 3 of them certainly belong in this conversation. But, you're talking about schedule strength, and you're talking about, wins over other top 25 RPI opponents and all that good stuff. Florida State currently sits, just so you know, and oddly enough, by the way, think about this. Miami is number 20. Florida is number 21. We swept Miami down there. Ass kickings. Ass beatings.
Yeah, it was the 44-4 week, I think, right?
It was
something crazy
you
like
guys
that.
don't belong in the same field as us week is what that was. Think about how long ago that was. This team hit the daylights out of the ball against a top 20 RPI team. There's Florida, who, obviously we've held our own against.
They just took 2 or 3 from Vandy, too, and that only brought them up to 21. That's interesting.
Yeah. Well, Florida's 31-13. Florida State is 23-16.
That's substantial. Yeah. The RPI loves the ACC this year. That's the explanation, right? Got to be.
Well, if you're looking at ACC teams, and listen, I don't imagine we're going to go way down. I mean, we do play Notre Dame, who's number 2 in the RPI this week on the road. But, Louisville is top 40 in the RPI. Clemson's right there on the edge. NC State's 32nd in the RPI. I just mentioned Miami. Pitt's number 19. They've had a great season for Pitt and certainly owned our ass to start the year. Notre Dame, I mentioned, is 2. So, yeah, a lot of ACC teams, top 35 in the RPI. I am nervous about this series. Notre Dame's doing some things. Doing some damn things. But we're better on the road than we are at home. And I would say that we also tend to kind of play to our competition. It is weird.
So apparently next week is when they announce the host sites. So they're going to be announced well before you get into any kind of selection show or anything like that. We knew that there were bids, but they want to announce them early. You take 2 out of 3 this weekend with Notre Dame. Tallahassee could be one of the 16 host sites. Yeah. And you could very well be assigned your own home site because you've done it through merit, which 2 out of 3 here would be massive.
Yeah, and the other part of that is that you could host a regional site and not be in it.
Right.
That's true,
like
too.
Baton Rouge.
Yeah, it can happen. Funny that it was brought up today. Corey Clark wrote about it, and just brings back memories. It's also a reminder. There are frequent reminders these days of how long I've been in this business and doing these things. But I have a special memory for this one in particular because it bothers me, but it also makes me smile for some very specific reasons, which I'll get into. The fact that Notre Dame is having the kind of year that they are in baseball is memorable because they haven't had a ton of them. And, of course, it matters because Link Jarrett is trying to change the history and change who they are and how they're seen. And, of course, Link Jarrett played here, and I watched him play here, and he was up for the job here. So there is, I can only imagine the pressure that comes in that series for these two gentlemen. Mike Martin Jr. said about Link that he's a very intelligent guy. He works hard, understands our game of college baseball. I knew last year he liked his guys. He said, we've got guys I think that are athletic enough. They just haven't been taught correctly. I feel like I can do something about that. Well, yeah, he has. They're 24-8 overall and 21-8 in the ACC. Since he took over in July of 2019, they're 35-11. They're poised to return to the NCAA tournament for the first time since 2015. That gets back to the point that they haven't been any good. It's hard not to make the NCAA tournament, for Jesus. But there they are. So they're in. But I can imagine the underbelly here is that Link was up for the job, and there were people that wanted him to get it. Meat's aware of that. Listen, that's going to be a good series. I get your popcorn. I'm watching that series very, very closely.
Are you?
Well, if I can find it.
Yeah.
If I'm allowed to watch college baseball, I will find it.
I'm
somehow.
sorry, it's going to get bumped to ACC Network Extra for Notre Dame, a year in the ACC in memoriam.
The other reason the memorable moments about the Fighting Irish come up here in this part of the conversation is that they beat us in the 2002 Super Regional, and it was a infinitely frustrating victory to watch Notre Dame get, partly because the guy that pitched for them, his father played at Florida State and wanted him to come to Florida State. And I know that because I talked to his father in the stands prior to the game. And that was frustrating because the other part of that frustration was that, once again, one of these rare moments, I got a chance to do play-by-play for that series against Notre Dame. And my buddy Matt Britton got to join me on the call. It was Armed Force Network. They needed somebody desperately. Second time in my life that's happened. And I did the broadcast for that series for just the Armed Force Networks, of course, the great Lee Bowen and all of them. But that was fun to do, except for we lost. And I had to document it in a right down the middle, fair and honest fashion. No rooting either way.
No funny business.
No funny business.
I liked it better the first one. Business. No funny business.
No funny business. I'm looking forward to the game, though. It's on my radar. We'll talk more about it tomorrow. But this is the first time this year where the juices got flowing, except for the Miami series and any game we've played against Florida. And that worked out well. So they're flowing again, friends. Here we go.
Got to get those bats alive. Going to a dump of a town.
Somebody wake them up.
Let's hack the dump of a town hit by hit.
You've got to do some sort of secret dance or whatever you got to do around these bats to get them going. Joe Boo. We got to figure out a way.
I go back to my Catholic roots and see if I can find something.
Tap the bats on something.
From the Maccabees.
It's Jeff Cameron Show. It's a matter of time before we had to read this story, or you would read this story. You'd wake up and read this story and go, yeah, that seems right. Remember when the White Sox kind of quietly hired Tony La Russa as their manager?
I know where you're going with this, yes.
And I cracked up at the time saying, are you insane? First of all, my man hadn't coached in what was it? How many years had it been? Let me double check on the number here. How many years had it been? Yeah, he hadn't managed in 10 years. And he was clueless at the end of his managerial tenure when he left. Like out to lunch, those interviews were uncomfortable. My man was staring at his shoes. It was Bob Hope and him.
If there was like a 50th anniversary Beach Boys concert, right? Don't you think he could have been one of the Beach Boys? That's what he looks like.
Oh, yeah. Well, he needs to. He'd have to let his hair go
wow,
gray.
what the hell happened to the Beach Boys?
Yeah, this version of La Russa was a shaky version. I mean, you had the whole thing. Well, he had countless missteps. Remember this? The video from when he was pulled over when he I think he did the "Do you know who I am?" was a good one, and then there was something else. Well, didn't he misstep? Did he say something borderline racist?
I don't know. Could be.
Maybe I'm just unfairly besmirching the man.
You might have. You usually have good recall on these matters.
I do, especially if I don't like the person, and I don't like Tony La Russa.
Forgive me if I don't feel like Google searching Tony La Russa racist remark right now, though. So.
He might not have said. I can't remember. This is going to drive me nuts. I'm going to see. Well, see, the problem is if I. So of course that just happened. I just took Tony La Russa. I just typed in Tony La Russa, and the first thing that comes up are the people's takes that I have on what happened with him not knowing the rules, which is just perfect. I'll find it. I'm telling you, I'm going to find it. I'm going to find the thing, whatever that thing was. There was an article, by the way, recently about Chicago White Sox, Tony La Russa's managerial mistakes continue to mount as season progresses. Yes.
And apparently Ozzie is in the studio. I believe Ozzie Guillen still works in the studio.
Oh, my man.
And he had remarks. He had thoughts about some of the mistakes that Tony's making. Yeah, that's must-see TV. If you think Inside the NBA is must-see studio television, I would imagine that Ozzie second-guessing Tony La Russa is even better television.
It's so perfect because Ozzie never relents. He says crazy things all the time. And, of course, if he doesn't like you, God help you, don't let the host offer up a little softball of a question about a player's character. We have that promo. All right. Tony La Russa said, this is his latest faux pas. Everybody could have told them this was going to happen, especially since, by the way, again, 10 years ago, my man sounded like he was out to lunch. Those interviews got weird and uncomfortable. Grandpa's talking again, Mom. We're going to have to ask him to be quiet at the dinner table. You never know what he's going to say.
Well, you know what, son? He's been through a lot in his life, so you've got to put up with it, okay?
Uh-huh.
He was very good to us. Remember that.
La Russa said he didn't fully know the extra inning rules that would have allowed him to avoid using his closer, Liam Hendriks, as a base runner in a 0-0 game against the Reds yesterday. Hendriks had double switched into the game in the bottom of the ninth inning, taking the number 5 spot in the batting order, which made the last out in the top of the frame. Per Major League Baseball rules, as extra innings begin, the spot in the order to make the last out on the previous inning becomes the base runner at second base. However, if that spot is occupied by a pitcher, the team has the option to use the preceding player in the batting order as the runner. In this case, that would have been Jose Abreu. La Russa said, I didn't know that. When asked about it, he doesn't even know to lie. He doesn't even know to deflect there. He's so out to lunch, he doesn't know how that's going to look.
So, I don't know where this is going to go, but if you want to, I have a video from NBC White Sox, the official team television account, that says, So about that top of the 10th, ... Ozzie Guillen gives his opinion on Tony La Russa's decisions.
Play it. Let's hear it. Let's listen to it together for the first time, everybody. This ought to be good.
Then that would have kept Kopech.
The only thing I disagree, or not disagree, I don't like it.
Yeah.
Why you lay this man hit?
Wait, let Billy Hamilton hit?
Billy Hamilton's on in the big league because he can run.
Yeah.
Sorry. Right now, in this point in his career, yes, the only thing he can do, he can run. That's the second time when they hit with the game on the line, and he struck out both times. Then, I know they try to be aggressive. I know they try to do this, but they're not going to double up Hamilton. We just talked about right before the play.
Right.
When the pitching coach went out talking, say, hey, you know what he's saying? Say, hi, guys. We're not going to, it's a ground ball, it's not going to be a double play. Hamilton is there. We talk about it.
They'll never pitch at the plate.
All of a sudden, we see Garcia tried to steal second. When Garcia, he only threw what? 5 stolen bases a year? If you talk about somebody else, I don't mind.
Well, you had Zach Collins on the bench. You had Danny Mendick on the bench. They could have pinched hit for Billy Hamilton.
Yeah, and you know what? I do that, and then late in the game, I say, you know what? Who plays center field? Frank, go play center field. Hopefully nobody hit it to you.
We're really missing out on a nightly experience.
Why do you let him hit?
It's great. Well, Hamilton did strike out on 3.
That's twice with the game on the line.
Yeah,
he strikes out both times.
He's only in the league because he can run, and that is true. That is true. He can't hit a lick.
So I had the pleasure of seeing that video. He is, I guess the producer finally got to him because he's holding back. You could see rage in his eyes.
Oh, he wants to just go off, yeah.
Yeah. He's like, you idiot. Billy Hamilton is not here to pinch hit. What is wrong with you?
I didn't know that, said La Russa after the 1-0 loss. We all thought Liam was going to be the runner. I wasn't aware Abreu could have run. I thought it was the guy that made the last out or the spot in that order. Jesus. I mean, he's just out here stumbling through it publicly. The Emperor is not wearing clothes, Tom. This is a terrible situation.
So I could tell you earlier in the year, before he decided to use the bullpen like a moron, Luis Rojas in New York made a double switch that was alert, and people said, whoa, you can do it. No, a good one. He's like, oh, so you could do that with the runner on base in extra innings. He double switched in and out so he could seamlessly avoid having to use the pitcher's spot in the batting order because of the National League. You've got an extra layer to it.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, well done. You know the rules. And then weeks later,
this
a-hole in the American League where you don't have to worry about the pitcher's spot.
Doesn't know the rules.
And he doesn't know the rules.
Besides the obvious injury risk to a player who has to run the bases, who's run the bases once in his entire career, the choice to run Hendricks impacted the inning while he was on third base with just 1 out. Reds catcher Tucker Barnhart didn't hesitate to throw the ball to second to nail Leury Garcia, who was trying to steal, despite the winning run standing at third. Barnhart knew Hendricks likely wasn't going to go home on a double steal attempt. La Russa said, well, Garcia can run. We wanted to be aggressive. They threw him out. As pointed out by Ozzie there, he can't run. He had 5 stolen bases. La Russa said he was hoping for an easy sacrifice fly or another way for Hendricks to score that wasn't stressful. It didn't matter after Billy Hamilton struck out again to end the inning. We were going to try to avoid any kind of contact play at home plate. Tony, they don't exist anymore. Damn it, man. La Russa admitted afterwards he was not aware of the rule until hearing it read by a reporter in the post-game Zoom session.
No. A reporter told him?
A reporter told him the rule.
Who the hell's his bench coach?
Then La Russa said, when asked about it again, I'm guessing you guys know the rules better than I do. At least now I know. I'd fire him on the spot. I mean, this is ridiculous. This is a clown show. What are you doing?
And then you let Billy Hamilton hit and not run it first. If you're going to pinch him, run him.
That is so good. Everything about it. Well, it was so easily predictable. I don't understand. Everybody first guessed this. And again, I've got an ear for when people are starting to, it's a tough thing, man. I mean, I don't like it. It's like when I see a toupee. I can spot it instantaneously. Even a good one.
Now I understand the magnitude of what Ozzie is talking about.
Yes, you could have pinch run Billy Hamilton.
Or
he would have walked to second, by the way.
Yep. Or if you let him hit, okay, fine.
Well,
you let him hit. He puts it in play, which he's not going to do.
He's not going to do.
But so what? You're not going to double him up. Why are you running in front of him? Don't run in front of Billy Hamilton. They can't double him up.
Right.
Ever.
So they threw him out easily. That's why.
Ground ball scores a run.
Yes, that's why Ozzie was furious. He's like, well, they're not going to double him up.
Ooh, that's really bad on like 5 levels.
Yes. So you try to steal with a guy who's only got 5 career stolen bases.
Instead of pinch running for
him with a guy who's only in the league because he can run.
And it's not like it's the pitcher spot that you have Billy Hamilton pinch hitting for.
Also, the winning run is at third anyhow. Why are you doing that? What are you doing? Oh, man, there's just so many things.
Mm-hmm. That's worse than the opening day mistake I saw Rocco Baldelli make for the Twins, which was, all right, it's the bottom of the 10th, winning runs on third, first and third, single. It's a hard hit single, so he can't score on it. And you don't walk the bases. First and third, no, because it's extra innings.
But I'm saying he's on first and it was a hard hit single.
Hard hit single to lead
not
off
after
the inning.
I was going to say, what are you talking about? This guy on third, he's walking home.
No, yeah. So he started on second, hard hit single, first and third, nobody out.
Okay.
You don't walk the bases loaded, that second run means nothing to you.
Of course
but the force could mean a lot at home. Yeah. At home.
Yeah, absolutely.
Guess what? Soft hit ground ball to second base, the tag is late. But you know what would be on there? His cleat with a step to spare.
Yeah.
Dude, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I don't care that you bring the infield in. That's crazy. This is worse than that, like 5-fold.
Oh, well, and I want to go back. I mean, I don't pay attention to the White Sox, but I do need to go back and look because they're talking about myriad mistakes. They're bringing up the fact that this is like the headline, it continues to mount. I mean, by definition, there have been several questionable moments.
Bend over.
I'll say this. That sounds like a guy who realizes and this would be giving him a lot of credit, but I think that sounds like a guy who realizes he's in over his head and is saying things to facilitate a firing. So he gets paid and he gets out of there, because you cannot express to the press that you had no idea about the rule for starters,
that they taught you it,
and then that you only found that out in a Zoom question from a reporter before you walked out there to talk to these guys. What do you mean? What do you mean you don't know the rules?
So there was never a meeting about this at any point.
I mean, God, dog, man, Tony.
Who's his bench coach? Lasorda?
He's dead.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because you would think at least the bench coach job, right, is to make the manager look smart.
For the most part.
Right? To double check. Hey, it's like the chief on a boat.
Yeah.
You know, hey, we don't want to do that, skipper.
Yeah.
Hang on a minute. Hang on a minute.
Yeah, because everybody makes mistakes, and you're there to get his back. He's thinking about a lot of different things, so you got to be there to help him out.
Hey,
right?
Skip, I know you know this. I know you already know this,
right.
We got to put him on second.
Yeah,
the rule allows for it.
Yeah. That is the wording indeed. You'd make a good bench manager, man. That's nice of you. Looking him out for him, even adding the kindest of phrases. I know you know this is awfully kind to assume with Tony La Russa's out to lunch ass.
But he's got the binder. Remember, he had the binder for all situations.
I am just not a fan. I never had. The level of arrogance is insane. And then it's just so, it's a shame, but I mean, I do. I think he's suffering from dementia.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm telling
escalated.
You, 10 years ago, when he got out of the game, I saw an interview, and I remember thinking, oh, no, this is a guy, listen, there's going to be a silver alert for Tony La Russa. We're going to have a silver alert on the highways because somebody's going to be looking for Tony wandering around America's highways and byways.
And you're like the guy who was on with Brian Kenny after the Altuve incident when he hit the home run. Like, it happened, and it was like the night before, and he's like, man, you are in a moment of unbridled joy, and you're grabbing your jersey and holding people and saying, go away. And then Brian Kenny says, you think he's wearing a wire? And he goes, I think he's wearing a wire.
It's an interrogation.
Right. He's like, I think he's wearing a wire.
Yeah,
I do, Brian.
You got to give the guy credit.
Tony's failing. I think he has dementia.
I do. Ooh, yeah, we go from 0 to 100 around here. I've thought it for a while. I'm telling you, I wish I were there on a daily basis to really vet that situation. And this is not funny, man. And I have a family member who died from it, so I'm not. just so you know out there, if you think I'm being facetious, no, I mean, honestly, I know how serious it is. I also know the signs. They're pretty obvious to most people. I, for whatever reason, much like a wig, am finally tuned to these moments. 2 members of my family. And I, early on, I was the first to sound the alarm for both of them. You don't get an award for that. I'm not proud of myself. I'm just saying, I said something both times to other family members, like, hey, so-and-so's not following the bouncing ball. You ever notice that when we're having dinner chats? They can't follow the bouncing ball. This is tough. This is tough to say. Have you noticed it? Because I'm starting to notice it. And then everybody's, well, no, I don't really see it. Mm-hmm. 2 fingers to my eyes.
Yeah, but the thing is, in that family setting, as this turns into an episode of Bellying Up, you got to be very careful about how you introduce that and when you introduce that.
Of course.
You got to be sensitive to the other people because once it's in their head, it'll never go away. They're always looking for it.
You have to pull them aside, and you have to know which one is the strong one.
Okay. Well, okay.
I know what I'm doing, Tom.
Well, as long as you vet the process.
No. You got to take the person first of all, who's a realist. Secondly, somebody who's not living in fantasy land who can handle this sort of thing. And they have to know that you have the person's best interest in mind and that you care. But you pull them outside. You say, listen, come here. I want to talk to you for a second.
Sliding glass door.
Yeah. You walk outside. You point to the trees like you're talking about something else. And you go, hey, so listen, not for nothing in there. Did you notice Uncle Billy? Sounding like a crackpot? This is crazy. That's the second time in 2 months that he's come over and just couldn't handle the conversation. Didn't know what the hell we were talking about. And then repeated himself several times. And then that's how you kind of throw it out there. And then they're like, oh, yeah, I hadn't thought about it. Pay attention. You pay attention.
The only reason Billy Hamilton is on your roster is to pinch run and play defense.
It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Couple of football-related items here. First of all, I think it's pretty well settled. If you can be a third-string quarterback and still draw a paycheck in the National Football League, or a fourth-string quarterback, apparently in Tampa, you've got the easiest job in the world. You don't have to do anything. It's the coolest thing ever. Like Ryan Griffin, who just got re-signed, doesn't have to ever do anything. And he gets paid over $1 million to do nothing at all. That's it. That's a better job than the punter. That's a better job than the long snapper. Those guys have to do things. They're being evaluated to a greater extent with something on the line. So the Bucs have now re-signed everybody and drafted a quarterback. It's really odd. Blaine Gabbert has just been re-signed by Tampa Bay. 1 year, $2.5 million. $2.5 million to do nothing. Now, there is a chance Brady, who's 1,000 years old, could get hurt, so Blaine may end up having to do something. But now on the roster, you have Ryan, you have Blaine, you have Kyle Trask. Somebody, they're not getting rid of those guys.
No, it makes no damn sense. For a team that is down to the dollar in terms of cap space, that they signed Ryan Griffin not 2 weeks ago, April 20th. They re-signed Ryan Griffin on April 20th. The terms of the deal I can't find, but I'm sure that there is some guarantee on some level if you're going to re-sign him. You draft Driscoll, and now you re-sign Gabbert. That makes no sense on any planet. You're not carrying 4 on your active roster.
It's weird. Jason Light has a thing for Blaine Gabbert. Quote, first of all, I love his energy. I've really gotten close to Blaine this year just being on the sidelines where he just sits and does nothing. He's a really smart guy. But he's one guy. My scouts and I talk about this a lot. He's just one guy that I love to watch throw the ball every day in practice because he's got a cannon. He's very accurate with his throws as well. And just really, he whistles them into tight windows. You're talking about Blaine Gabbert like he can play, Jason. He was given a chance. He can't play. Anyhow, that's I don't mind him being a backup. But you got 4 quarterbacks on your roster. Somebody is going to sit around and do nothing.
Well, and somebody's going to cost you dead money against the cap, and you don't have hardly any room. Like, what if you need to make an in-season move, and you're $1 million short of what you need because you signed 4 freaking quarterbacks? It just seems like a pointless move. If you needed Gabbert, sign him, and don't sign Ryan Griffin 2 weeks ago.
It is really weird. I'm confused, but I am envious more than I am confused. I'm jealous. There is a man living in Tampa in a lap of luxury, making more than $1 million a year to not work, to do nothing. One of those quarterbacks is going to do nothing.
Right, yeah. Sit in a meeting. Well, one of them's going to get cut, but yeah, the other one's just going to sit in a meeting room, listen to Brady get mad about stuff, and then review film for him.
Yeah.
I need you to take a look at their backup safety, and I want all the clippings. You give me notes. I need them by 6 a.m. tomorrow. That's your gig. That's it.
Yeah,
because you're certainly not going to take any snaps in practice.
No, it's a great gig, man. On a daily basis, you're just chilling. I know I'm kind of being facetious. I know that they're not just doing nothing, but it's a made-up role. There's not much for them to do.
And if you're tabbed to go in because of injury, there's no expectation.
No.
All you can do is impress. If you suck, you're supposed to. It's beautiful.
The other thing I want to talk about does pertain to quarterbacks as well, and we need to stop doing the thing where we ask Brett Favre questions. Stop doing that. Now, Brett was nice enough to come on this show, and we did a great interview together, and I'm not going to get all mean-spirited here because I do appreciate that. Now, he's made questionable decisions in his personal life that are well-documented, but what I would say is that I don't like this deal where anything that happens in Green Bay, they talk to Brett Favre, because Brett has proven, I think, that, he's not the sharpest knife in the drawer. Let's just put it that way. And just because he was a really good football player, we don't need to ask Brett Favre his opinion about everything to do with Green Bay. I know he was there forever, and that's great, and he's a legend. Damn it, man.
Well, he's also on Sirius XM, so he's got a forum to talk about these things, whether he's asked or not. In this case, though, don't you think it would be interesting to get his perspective on Aaron? Because it's similar. It's not exactly the same, but it's quite similar to the circumstance that saw Brett leave.
It is, and I'm just saying, in general, he's been asked about a lot of things in the last year, most of which he's not an expert on, and I wouldn't want to hear it from. Anyhow, That's just me.
Hey, man, I want to know about Copperfit. I want to know if it works.
But here's what I would tell you. Yes, it's fine that he's talking about Aaron Rodgers and saying he's not real sure he's going to come back. Apparently, everybody associated with the Green Bay Packers wants to talk about this subject and is free to do so. During a Wednesday night radio appearance on the Zach Gelb Show, CBS Sports Radio, his fullback, John Kuhn, said he wouldn't disclose the exact details of the conversation he just had with Aaron Rodgers, but painted a picture of a quarterback who's evaluating all aspects of the situation and hasn't made up his mind. Quote, he's conflicted because this man loves to play the game of football. He loves the city of Green Bay. He loves being a Green Bay Packer. And he truly sees, and this man truly sees careers. What? This is a quote, guys. He's watched friends leave. He watched Brett Favre's career towards the end. He's watched all these things play out in front of his eyes. He's taken notes throughout his career. He's seen some situations that didn't feel were done or finished the way that they could have or should have. He's just trying to take his earned destiny in his own hands. To that effect, I admire him. This guy here is his agent.
John Kuhn has issues ahead of him in life.
Yes, he does. That said, he went on to say he doesn't, his gut feeling is that if there's not a trade, Rodgers would rather sit out than play. Well, there's not going to be a trade. We keep doing this. I don't think there's going to be a trade. How do you trade Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah, that first quote, we've all been there before. Some of us can get out of a position where we don't want to speak quicker than others. Right. He's trying to find words, like the right cliche to get out, and he can't find it. And then he finally gives you the truth, which is he's going to sit out. He's just not going to play.
The team's approach to Aaron, in my opinion, should be a very simple, straightforward approach. It's just not even difficult. I'm not trading you. You've got, 2 years left on your deal. We've already approached you about adding money to that deal, but you rebuked it. We've paid all the guaranteed money, all the bonuses. We've paid all of that. This team hosted the NFC Championship. You won the MVP. You have weapons all around you, so much so that you could put up those kinds of numbers to win an MVP. We can't get fair market value back. We're not going to trade you. We're just not going to trade you. So, I mean, you can sit. That is your choice. I hope you don't. Obviously, I think we're in a position to win a Super Bowl. I'd love for you to come back. If you need some assurances about your say moving forward in personnel decisions, okay, depending on what the team's thought is there, if they're willing to give him that, and they maybe should, then okay, offer that up. You tell Aaron Rodgers, listen, Aaron, if you want some input on free agents that we are thinking about bringing in, or if next year going to the draft, you want to talk about some guys, all right, I'll extend you that. You've earned that here. We'll acquiesce to that. And like I said, we already offered you more money and extended you. But we're not trading you. I'm not the guy that's trading Aaron Rodgers. I'm not going to do it.
In reflecting on this for a few days, I think there's a plausible chance that he just doesn't want to play period anymore. And he's looking for the right way out. And he doesn't have he doesn't have the guts to do it, though.
Why? Why would you not have the guts to do it? You've had a brilliant career. You've won a Super Bowl. You won MVPs. You're up amongst the yardage leaders all time. You're probably one of the best throwers of the football. Not probably. You are one of the 5 best throwers of the football ever to play. You're 37 years old. Say peace.
You can't apply common sense to everybody. That's,
What would be embarrassing about that? What would be shameful about that? What would prohibit him from doing that?
He's afraid of doing it. I don't know.
Clearly, he has other interests, lots of them. He's a
Correct.
smart guy. He's an ass, but he's a smart guy.
Yeah, I think he's looking for a way out. And the way out would be either, I could go coast home, go to the West Coast, play, where I want to play, and that's fine as I'm winding down my career. It just sounds like the will to go through the grind isn't there anymore, and he's looking for somebody else to blame it on rather than himself.
Well,
if I'm trying to psychoanalyze, which that's all we can do because it's week 2 of this nonsense.
Well, it's bizarre. I do think, listen, again, he's seemingly got a problem with a singular individual. He hates the GM, and he's mad at him.
Well, he's of the mind because there's no guaranteed money the next couple of years. The team is essentially, they have him on a lease agreement at this point,
yes.
year to year, right? And so he's saying, I've been MVP caliber the last 2 seasons. Where is the greater commitment now? And they're saying, well, we front-loaded you that commitment. And he says, well, you drafted a guy the first round because you thought my days were numbered. Take a look at what I've done since then. I want another deal. I want a new deal because haven't I proven that I deserve?
They tried to approach him with a new deal, and he didn't do it. He didn't accept it. They offered more money. They offered extending. They did all of this. No. You think it's about money?
No, I think he's creating it to be about money because he doesn't really want to play, but he's looking for a reason other than I don't want to play anymore because he's afraid of I don't know what. But it sounds like a guy who just doesn't want to be there anymore.
If that's true, then he should just retire. Just call it a day. Just leave. Whatever's going on in your personal life, I can't attest to that. I have no idea. There would be no shame. The guy's the reigning MVP of the league. He has been brilliant. He would be short of winning that Super Bowl, which they didn't win because the Tampa Bay Bucks did. But other than that, he achieved everything there was to do this past year. He was brilliant. And they went 13-3 2 years in a row. So he'd be leaving at the top of his game. And he does have a Super Bowl. And he does have those MVPs. So there's really nothing, I could see where if you didn't have one, you'd be like, I got to get to a situation where I can win this thing before I retire. But he has one.
Well, I think partially also it's true. We joke about it, but Brady has ruined them all. Because Brady was in a disgruntled position. He got Jimmy Garoppolo traded, right? He power played that. Right. That did happen. But then he left New England on his own terms, and he went to a new situation. It was a better situation, a more fun situation, and it brought new life to him. These guys talk, and that ruins everybody else because they see the control that Brady has, thinking that they're as good, if not better than him, and so therefore they think that they could do the exact same thing. Problem is they're under contract if they're in Seattle or Green Bay right now.
Well, and I would point this out, and I'll wrap up with this, because I wanted to look it up while you were talking about this, because I remember reading initially why this is not plausible for Aaron Rodgers and why the team has the ability to kind of really lean in here. Now, you don't want to create contentious relationships moving forward, of course. You'd like to smooth this over. So diplomacy is your best option here. Fly out to California, sit down with the guy and say, look, what do we got to do to make this right? What specifically is your cause here? What is your concern? All right. Assuming they don't, this doesn't work out, Rodgers would be forced to repay his 2021 roster bonus and a portion of his signing bonus. He would, in all, owe the Packers nearly $30 million if he just decided, peace, I'm not coming, man. He's not going to do that. He's not going to give the Packers $30 million. And if it's contentious, they'll ask for it. Most of the time, they don't pursue it. Most of the time, they'd be like, okay, well, this guy's retiring. We're going to let it go. You keep your bonus money and all that. This is ugly. If he just says, that's serious repercussions if he decides to retire. That money comes back. The team could waive the repayments. The Colts waived the repayments when Andrew Luck decided to retire, but that was because they knew he was hurt. He was significantly hurt.
He wasn't coming back to just power play his way somewhere else.
That is correct.
Like Carson Palmer did.
That is correct. By the way, the Packers have paid Aaron Rodgers more than $240 million in his time in Green Bay. I mean, let's get the hell out of here with this nonsense, Aaron. It's $240 million. That's just from his play. Now, I mean, I guess he's in a position because he's made $240 million, and I'm not counting his endorsements and everything else that he's made, to tell the Packers, I'm leaving, and here's $30 million. You could do that. I don't know too many people that, I don't care how rich you are, that are willing to give back $30 million.
Well, whatever his next step is would cover that and then some.
But think about leaving $30 million on the table. $30 million.
I understand, but if you made $240,000 and you could be really happy, like let's just say you got it in the bank, $240,000.
It's just sitting there, yeah.
Right. You'd give 30 back to go make a lateral move, or not a lateral move, but a move to make you more happy. You're like, whatever, 30 grand, who cares?
I guess.
That's what it's like to him. And it's rolling in. It's not, I mean, what do you think State Farm pays him? My God, it's got to be absurd.
Yeah, listen, he makes a lot of money. He's done well. Rodgers, 3 years, $73 million deal, reasonable. Could ask for a raise, yes. They offered that. They said, we'd give you more money. I mean, I don't know. I'm looking at these deals. He's not poorly paid. They've taken care of him. His roster doesn't suck. They won 13 games. He won the MVP. This is petty. This is just petty. I get it. If he's like the 15th paid quarterback in the league, ranked paid quarterback in the league in terms of dollar amounts, yeah, be pissed off. You're too good for that. If you're 5-11 every year because management keeps screwing up the draft and you can't win games, get the hell out of there. Force your way out of there. You're 37. You're trying to win at the end of your – but none of those things are in play here. He just hates that GM. He hates him. Called him Jerry Krause. All right, well, how about this, Aaron? He won't talk to you. You won't talk to him. You love the city. You tell everybody that. You love the franchise. You tell everybody that. You have no problem with the president of the team. You got no problem with the director of operations. You got no problem with your teammates. You got no problem with the fans. And you have no problem winning and putting up numbers. This is crazy.
Russell for Rodgers, straight up. Make it happen.
Oh, God. What a nightmare. What a nightmare. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Final hour of the Jeff Cameron Show, at least for today. Appreciate you joining.